Valet bowl is always a welcome gift for any guy emptying his pockets at night. I want to give a shout out to Jay Penfield, the president of the Detroit area Woodturners, for sending me a couple of pieces of Jarrah that we're going to use in this project. Sometimes I go in the shop with a specific project in mind, and I look for a piece of wood that's suitable for that project. An example of that is our monthly Four Ways collaboration video with Richard Raffin, Thomas Love, Thomas Etch, and Sam Angelo. But other times you go in there and a piece of wood just kind of calls your name and says, okay, make something out of me, and you're trying to figure out what to do with it. And that's where I am with this piece of Jarrah, this eucalyptus from Australia. So I decided I would make a men's valet bowl out of it, and I went into my shop, my studio, and looked around for some other piece for inspiration, and I think these small square blanks helped in this rectangular one, and I thought, okay, I think I will leave it square. Might take less turning, and it'll give maximum size and be something a little bit different. I'm going to use a screw chuck, so I've marked the center very carefully. This is a squared piece of wood. I marked the depth. I'm only going to go a ½ inch, and I'll use a some type of spacer, so I'm just going to come in here and drill a ½ inch. Okay, now I marked it up. I marked the top of it with a couple of circles to think about how large of an opening I'm going to have, and maybe I could have some beads around the edge and how far out they could go. This picture might help. On the back side, I did something very similar. I decided how I was going to hold it. In this case, I decided I would use a recess, so I marked a recess, marked an area that I'm going to decorate, and then I marked an area how far out I might curve it. I thought I'd, similar to this one, I thought I would have a bit of a cove between here and the foot. I want a big flat foot so it'll be very stable, form follows function, and I want the bowl to be big enough to hold the typical stuff that lands in a bowl at night out of a man's pocket. It could be his wallet, could be his keys, could be a pocket knife, could be his watch. So I'm using my shop-made screw chuck. I'm putting a spacer on here because a ½ inch depth will be plenty. I'm not going to run this and slap it on with a lathe turning because this wood's so hard, and I'm not 100% sure how that size hole is going to work something this hard. So let me just put it on here and do it the old-fashioned way. And tighten it up. Okay. So this is going to be a recess. I'm going to leave this part in the middle to be able to do a feature on it so it won't be completely hollow. This is going to be the outside dimension. And this is going to be the cove somewhere down here between this line and this line. I'm going to use my shop-made dovetail tool to come in there and put a recess. Okay. And now I want to clean up that edge a little bit before I turn it around. Bowl gouge and start working the bottom down. think I'm happy with that. Okay. I want to go ahead and sand and decorate the bottom. I've got to think about how I want to handle that. Meanwhile, I'll sand it. So I did some sanding. I used a D-Way tool to put a little bead here. Now we're going to turn it around. So we're going to take it off the screw chip. When I sanded, I softened these edges right here, so it kind of sweep in. Okay. So now we're going to put this in recess, hold it in the middle, expand. Firmly, but not enough to blow it out. All right, let's decide what we're gonna do to the inside of the bowl. I think right here I want the outside of a bead. And then I want to slope away from the base of that bead to the outside. So that means this will be the bead. Or something a little bit smaller. And from that bead I'm going to go right inside, so I think that's going to be the inside right there. And then I might turn one small bead outside of the larger bead. I think this is just about got it here. Okay, gives a pretty good idea. So, first thing I want to do, I think I want to slope the outside before I deal with the inside of the bowl, so I've got as much mass here, won't have a movement, although this heavy wood is probably not likely. I'll ride the bevel, go down. This is like the bottom of a bowl. Smaller parts here, so I'm going to be sweeping away, so I'm going to go from the inside out. I'm going to start here. I think I'm going to go with a little shorter gouge. So I'm going to use this 3/8 inch diameter bowl gouge. And I think I'll start on the outside and then work my way back. So let's see what happens. Speed up a little bit. Maybe I need a heavier duty gouge than this, but it's cutting away just fine. That's not too bad. I'll start working my way back just a little bit. And I think before that, I almost need to define where that bead is going to be. And so I'm going to do that. There's the outside of the bead right there. A little bit. Let's see how that's looking. Okay, got a nice slope. I just need to blend it again. Got that bead defined. I can probably go down a little bit deeper and then define this a little bit better. Might be better off with a 1/2 inch spindle gouge. A longer bevel. I may have to do a little cleanup with a scraper, but I like that turn. Maybe bring it down a little bit more. Here on the edge. I might have to go a little bit deeper on this bead, so I think I'll Use my detail guides for that and go in just a little bit deeper. Shear spray for it. Join. Interrupted cuts are tough because they leave tool marks that are difficult to sand out. So I've got a little bit of a join right there at the tip. This wood feels kind of coarse and chippy. I'm not sure if I want to try to scrape it, so I think I just gotta get this lined up. Okay. Clean, nice shape. I think that's exactly what I want. Maybe I'll go ahead and define that bead. I'm going to use a point tool. Okay, I've got the small bead, the large bead, and I'm trying to decide maybe I'll put one more bead in there before I haul it out. I think I might. Now I'm going to pick up the cut right here with a bowl gouge. Now that I don't have an interrupted cut, I think I'll slow the speed down a little bit. About 1,000. Alright, we're almost to the bottom of that drill hole, so I'm not going to, that bowl's still pretty thick, so I've got room to go a little deeper, which I will. Getting some ripples here, so let's change the tool rest, make sure it clears. I'll switch to a 1/2 inch bowl gouge. If I fasten the banjo down. Plenty thick there. I can come down maybe almost 1/4 of an inch. Pretty thick through here, so let me steepen up the wall a little bit. Maybe actually a little bit with the shadow line. Okay, I like that shadow line. The wall's a little thick. I think I can go down a little bit more. Got a spot there. Now, I think I'm going to try to do some cleanup there with a bowl gut, with a scraper. Let's see how that works. I'll do some cleanup here. Alright, let me check the depth. I've got to allow for that 1/8 of an inch recess. And okay, that's as deep as I want to go. I've got this to clean up a little bit. I can't get in there with a negative rake scraper. Let me just sweep along the bottom here, right there towards the middle. Raise the tool rest. There we go. Alright, now that works fine across the bottom, but I've still got to get in here. So that's why I'm going to use this negative rake, come up around the edge. Much improved. Still some tool marks I'd like to get rid of before we start sanding. Get those edge there, indeed. Okay, much improved. That's a pretty good surface. I think I can start sanding there. Yeah, it's flat. Let's check the flatness here. How flat is it? Flat, curves up, come out here. Okay, I'm happy with that curve, that shape. Now it's just a question of sanding. I did a bit more sanding and finished with a few coats of Minwax Antique Oil, my favorite finish. And remember, y'all stay safe. Come on back, you hear?